Welcome back, friends, to the shop. So does an organized shop give you the fizz? I wouldn't know because I've never had one, but I came up with a plan that I think is going to fix everything. Let me walk you through it. Okay, that's not entirely true. I mean, I have been somewhat organized in the shops. I think the biggest problem is having too much stuff and lots of duplicates. Like when you start if you wonder about duplicates, just go look at your sockets and go look at your Allen wrenches. And do you really need 14 8mm Allen wrenches, right? That sort of thing. So here's what I've been doing this week, and it's working out pretty good. I drew a line in the sand right there. And every day, and what I've done is I've spread my arms across a wall space, right, of your shop. And that's what it gets tackled that day, 6 feet at a time, right? You can do that. Well, sometimes it goes pretty quick if you just have a corner where you've got brooms and hammers and different things leaning against the wall. And then sometimes you really get bogged down, like when you hit the big yellow toolbox, which I have been filling full of garbage for 20 years. And, well, I think as someone said, toolboxes are where tools go to die. There is so much junk and so much clutter in there. It's hard to know where to begin. So that's actually probably there's 8 shelves, beings. That's probably an 8-day project right there. I did number 1 yesterday, the top shelf, which was one of the worst ones. I'll show that to you. Today we're going to tackle 2, maybe 3. And I guess I had to show you what I did so far. So this is where I started on this cabinet. I had, of course, just stuff everywhere. This is right by the door. This is, of course, the space right by your door is your most important shop space because that's usually where you're going to be working. 90% of the work I do in the shop is done in this little area right here, not the rest of it. The rest of it is more of a long-term storage. So this needs to be the stuff that you're always handling and have your hands in and you're using, right? So the buckets, I got rid of all of the broken and weird buckets and I just narrowed it down to 2 good quality buckets. What I'm doing with the stuff that I'm not using is I'm giving it to Brian. Anything that Brian doesn't want, I'm just giving it away to the Dorcas Society down in town for people that might have a need for it, things like that. So just down to buckets. So this is a lot of car washing stuff because I will wash cars, car waxes and wheel treatments and lubricants, some dirt bike oils and things because we do a lot of maintenance with that. And then the propane stuff, we're always fooling around with that for the adventure van and that sort of thing. Now over here, of course, we're always using the chainsaws. So you've seen this before. I've got this set up here for all my chains and bars and the chainsaw tools there on a magnet. And then I have an area here for dull and sharp chains and ripping chains versus normal chains. So at a glance, I can tell what needs to be done. Because of course, filing chainsaws is not very fun, right? So it's nice to kind of sit down and do it all at once. And so I'll just clamp a bar in the vise, I'll lay my chains on there, and I'll just sit down for an hour and just knock them all out, right? And then I've got sharp chains that'll last me, most likely for the rest of the year. Then, of course, the tool board, which was pretty well done. I work out of the tool cart, as you know, so I don't like working out of toolboxes. Security's not really an issue. I don't work in a shop. It's just handier to work out of a tool cart. And the only thing that we're going to put on our tool cart are the most used hand tools, right? That's going to be screwdrivers over here. It's going to be our socket sets, deep and shallow, 1/4 inch and 3/8 drive, pliers, ratchets, that sort of thing with all of the end wrenches metric and standard on the bottom and a tape measure. This is what I do. 90% of the work you're going to do is going to require these tools. Beyond this are going to be the ones up here. What if I need to get into an extensions, pry bars, breaker, flex handle, magnets. These are all my pliers or specialty tools, snap ring pliers, needle nose, that sort of thing. Large diameter screwdrivers like number 3 Phillips that you don't get into a lot. Ratchet wrenches, hammers, shorty screwdrivers, measuring gauges, Torx handles, metric ratchet wrenches, and then ice picks and different things and extensions here for kind of expand. If this is tier 1, the cart, this is going to be tier 2 here. And for me, the real estate on top of the toolbox is important too because because of its close proximity to the vise. The vise is the center of the shop. The vise and the bench right there is where all work kind of rotates around. So everything needs to be within reach and close by here. So on top of the toolbox, I've got the awesome swag tool brackets that I mount on here, and I'll have all my pneumatic tools here, die grinders, air ratchets, impact wrench, cutoff tools here. I took that plug was always a problem for me, and that's also part of the philosophy here is I'm not moving on to the next project until everything is 100%, and this has plagued me having this plug, it was buried back behind my toolbox. So I took the time and moved it up there in an area where I can actually get to it. All the chargers for my cordless tools, going to be my impact wrenches, guns, screw guns, that sort of thing right here. I have a dedicated place for my jump charger, which I use quite often. And then my T-handle for my Allen wrenches I use all the time, and drill bits. So those are, this area right here is accessed all the time. Now I'll show you the top drawer. I'm very proud of it. I finally, after 15, 20 years, got it organized. Behold. If that doesn't give you the fizz, I don't know what to say. The only thing I could come up with is you must be from the East Coast. But so I finally, this was a disaster. I should have took a snapshot of it before. It was just the place when you didn't know what to do with something, you opened the door and you tossed it in there. I couldn't even hardly close it because there was just so much garbage in there. It's all gone. I went through everything. So from left to right, because we're not Jewish, here we're going to have the Allen wrenches, right? So our Allen wrenches that are going to be in our sockets, I put these on the, I've got metric and standard, so I can grab this and go. And then, you know, over the years, you know, you get big ones for specialty things. A set of metric and standard snap-on wrenches right there. I'm typically always going to go with these. I love the T-handle wrenches, but they don't fit in every location. And then as I come across, you know, I've got some big ones there that for who knows, different things I needed. I'll put those in there as well. And the nice thing is as I'm cleaning the shop and as I come by things, you know, we can add to this and alter it around there. I went through punches. I had 3 times this many punches, and I just don't need that many. So I kept, you know, duplicates of some of the larger ones. I put the punches here with the center punches and the regular punches and then the cold chisels here. My 2 spark plug tools right there, which I don't use very often. And these are going to be my line wrenches, you know, for taking off tubing and stuff. Ice picks and dental tools and little tiny screwdrivers for like sunglasses and different things. Air conditioning line tools, fuel line tool, and then crow's feet, which I've bought these things and I've packed them and organized them so many times and I don't think I've ever used them once. I almost just gave them to Brian, but I thought, sure enough, you give them away and then you'll be regretting it, right? So here are the ones I'm not so proud of. Here's drawer number 2, and this is today's project, which is not very bad, but it looks like it's kind of just automatically become a drill bit and pliers. So let's see if we can do something with that. We've got just a mess in here, and then it gets worse. Looks like the mice have been living in that one. That was supposed to be hammers. Oh goodness, it's just terrible. So let's since these 2 don't have too many things in them, let's empty them out, go through everything, see what we need, don't need, and get it sorted. After all that hard work, a man's got to reward himself with his favorite adult beverage, ginger turmeric kombucha. I don't drink beer anymore. Sometimes I wish I did. You laugh now, just wait till you've got the gout. You won't be laughing then. Okay, so first things first, what can we get rid of that we don't need? We've got 3 sets of fence pliers here. Believe it or not, I'm going to keep all 3 of those. They're handy to have. I'm going to keep one in the tractor for cutting wire. Sometimes you get wire wrapped around the axle or different things. One in the truck and one in the toolbox. And it seems that I'm always looking for these things, so you can't have too many. We've got our tin snips, right, left, and center. We need all 3 of those, red and green, or for, of course, cutting left and cutting right. This is a straight cut. We've got 2 sets of vice grips. Got to have the vice grips there. Got my big nippers. I've got 2 pair of these. I got one in my regular construction, right, my carpentry toolbox. But these are great for pulling nails and different things out. And having a big set's nice. I've got 3 horseshoe nails. Who can guess? You will be a stud if you can guess this. Who can guess what I use horseshoe nails for? You'll have to be a really uber subscriber to know that. Whoever guesses that first will get honorable mention. Why would I have horseshoe nails, not having a horse? We've got pop rivets and a pop rivet gun. We'll have to figure out a way to keep those things all together. I've got pop rivets in half a dozen different locations. It'll be nice to get those consolidated. Now these are my big drill bits here that are bigger than what would fit in the index, and then these We'll keep those together. It'd be nice to have. This is extra grease gun parts for the heads, replacement ends and such, so we'll have to keep those together. Here is my fancy dancy snap-on die grinder set. I actually do use that quite often. We'll have a place for that. Let's see who's smart. Who knows what this is? This is the number 2 guess. Can you guess what that is? But you'd have to be a mechanic to know what that is. I'll see who's a mechanic. This is my oil filter wrench of choice. These strap wrenches work pretty good. I've never had a filter I couldn't get off with them, and they fit all sizes. When you slide it underneath your vehicle, you don't have to worry about grabbing the right one. How they work is you just roll them around, and as you loosen or tighten, it will put pressure on this, and it just fits a 1/2-inch drive socket. So that's one that I use all the time. A beater screwdriver for pounding and prying on. These are leather punch tools, and I've got leather working tools all over the place. So let's put together a toolbox where everything leather related will go into. So when we want to do a holster or a leather repair, we have everything in one spot. This is I was going to give this to Brian here, but it's so cool. Check it out. It is let me bring you in close for this. This is worth showing. Every so often I come across something that is, it's probably something I'm never going to use, but it's just so cool, and I hate to, and maybe I will use it. When Gillette went completely social justice, and so I don't use their products anymore, and then when all the other companies follow suit, we won't be able to support them or buy their product. I might be left to shaving with the straight razor. Look at this, it's a K-bar. Isn't that beautiful? Man, that is gorgeous. That is really, really cool. One of my subscribers sent this to me, and I put it in my toolbox. I think we ought to keep that, don't you? That's really neat. And then the original case and all. Maybe we'll do a video on, I'll try shaving with that. I've never shaved with a straight razor before. I'd have to sharpen it too. I think we'll keep that. I guess that's probably about all the time we have for today. Most folks seem to prefer about a 10-12 minute video, from the best I can tell. Well, it's very smoky on the homestead today. Last night, something sucked in a bunch of wildland smoke, I'm assuming from some faraway fire. We haven't had much of anything this year. I think we've been out on one wildland fire, and that was a mutual aid. So very, very slow season. You just never can tell what you're going to have. But I think, well, we're probably out of the woods now. Boy, fall is certainly in the air. I'm just looking here at the real-time mountain view and seeing the maple leaves fall down. Today was the first time I noticed that. They're starting to turn, starting to change. The huckleberries are about ready for picking. We might head up there tomorrow and see if we can see how well we can do. The elderberries will be ready to pick within the week. And looks like we might have some canning coming up. I'm really looking forward to the fall. It's hard to believe that summer is coming to an end. It seems like it just started. But the good Lord always knows the perfect timing. Just when you kind of get tired of the heat, when you think you are starting to get a little bit worn out from all of it, everything changes and hits a reset. Well, right in the proper time, it seems. I guess that's why I could never live in Florida, because I really missed those changes. I missed the anticipation of the fall and the snow, and watching the snow line drop day after day on the mountain is, well, one of the joys of life. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys over on part 2.